All right, everybody, we are live. Welcome to another episode of 20 to Midnight, the let me try that one more time. The D&D stream where where two heroes have to race against the clock if they want to save the world. My name is Gabriel Urbina. I am the Dungeon Master.
And my name is Beth Eyre. I play Helena Hailstorm, a human fighter from the Veldrin Empire, and owner of at least two very desirable swords. And I'm coming to you from London
Sorry to
town.
pick you up on this, Beth. I believe that at the moment Helena is the owner of one very desirable sword.
Until recently, several swords.
I mean, just because it's not currently in your possession does not mean you are not the
I
owner
have been led
of
to
it.
believe that possession is a quite large portion of the law.
You know, it's like the title to a car.
Sure.
Wait, no, it's not like the title to a car. Anyway, I'm Emma Sherr-Ziarko. I am playing. Who am I playing? Cal.
Calistoga Vance. Very good. And where are you coming from, Emma?
The land of enchantment, Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Yeah, you are.
Folks, as you may be able to tell, we are, number one, extremely excited to be back together after having to have taken most of the last month off due to some, scheduling shenanigans. Number two, both extremely excited and I think, extremely dreading what is about to happen today because it's going to be a weird one.
Maybe.
Maybe. And three just,
Maybe dreading.
pretty punchy and caffeinated, so this is going to be a fun session. Beth, Emma, are you guys excited?
So excited.
So excited. I have never wished Mike was here more.
Right.
Yeah. But we're going to do great. We're going to do great.
Sure.
I'm going to finally banish.
Yeah, I want to get us into this as quickly as possible. So let's just jump into the very
Yeah.
fast recap.
What
Yeah, what the
happened?
heck even happened?
Yeah.
All right, so you made it back to Long Branch, or you made it to Long Branch, a city in Valdria, one that you'd never been there before, or at least Cal hadn't. I believe that Helena, in her youth, has maybe visited Long Branch a couple times. You had recently had a run-in with the Curator, the strange kind of trickster being who you had made a deal with so long ago for 15 minutes of Cal's time. Those 15 minutes came due. He possessed Cal, took control of her, did all kinds of mischief. The top ones being abandoning Satus in Amar at the hands of the Solanese Navy, killing the Eladrin, the wizard of the Silkran Toll that had teleported you to Veldria, knocking out Helena and stealing her very, very powerful Void Piercer sword, the Icebreaker. So all in all, a pretty good day for mischief. As you arrived at Long Branch, you discovered that he had set up shop at a circus outside of town. And even though it is billed as a circus and there are circus-like attractions, it seems to be much more of a casino. There's gambling, there's roulettes, there's all of these sorts of strange artistic installations. There are a lot of people serving that when you go by in the day, you see them in statue form in kind of the garden at the circus, and then at night they are wandering around offering people's drinks. This is particularly interesting for you all because due to a mix-up with another one of her suitors, Harriet Delancey, the woman that has been the object of Helena's affections for a long time, has fallen under the thrall of the Curator. So you guys had some scores to settle there. But first, we had to address the fact that you had just gotten through the Great Games and were beaten up and completely tapped out. Fortunately, a visit to the temple of Cal's new patron, the goddess the Night Star, led to a blessing and a very rare one-time boon. You were given the fruit of the moon tree, effectively a long rest in a jar sort of a thing, where it could immediately restore you to full health and restore all of your abilities without taking the week's rest that we've been playing in this game as being the basis for long rest. And Cal, you took your fruit, which means that you are back to full capabilities, all spells, all abilities, all the things. Helena, you have not taken yours yet, so we will see where the evening takes us.
Why would I need it?
Yeah.
Nothing bad will happen.
Yeah.
You went back to see your old friend Maeve, and actually discovered two additional old friends, your old pals, Grima and Akali from the dinosaur racing circuit back in the Teldorath, had been sent in, the first of the sort of allies mustering that the Eladrin encourage you to do before whatever the Vintner is doing moves things along even closer to big dramatic nonsense. Akali and Grima encouraged you guys to maybe turn your attention back to the stopping the vampire with the doomsday plot of it all, but also understood that perhaps the most efficient way to do that would be to help you guys deal with the Curator. And so you went into the circus. You eventually found your way into a hall of mirrors where you were separated from Akali and Grima. And then you finally were able to confront the Curator and talked with him and see if you could come to an arrangement. And eventually what you came to was a rather curious bet. It is winner takes all. If you guys win, you get a suite of things, because you get the release of Harriet's soul, you get Icebreaker back, and you get, he has, in a fit of generosity, promised to unleash at least a little bit of mischief amongst the Solanese navy, and maybe
That's
sort of
right.
help out with the situation where Satus is in their possession right now. If he wins, he gets Helena's sword. Not her Void Piercer, not the magical weapon, the old family sword, the sword that she started this campaign with, the kind of starter package fighter sword, is what he gets if he wins.
My
Your sword.
Yeah.
The family
family
sword, the Hailstorm family sword. And the bet is that he has given you a sealed envelope, inside of which is his explanation for why he wants this sword. You guys have been told that you can take 5 turns around the mirror maze, which will probably show you something or give you some insight in the game of understanding that he has sort of embroiled you in. So you get sort of 5 turns, and then you need to accurately guess why he wants the sword. And I think that is where we left it, as a passageway opened and you guys started to head down a dark hallway towards whatever the first of these turns might be. You are separated for Grima and Akali, but Volt, disguised as a goat, is with you. Thank goodness, as a goat and not as Jeff the elf. But that is where we are. Any major things that I'm forgetting?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
All right, in that case, let's get on into it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And I would sort of say, as you
Okay.
walk down this dark hallway, and it is going on for a bit, what are you guys talking about? Do you guys have any preliminary guesses? This is very much the kind of thing where you will be asked very you will be asked very directly at the end of the game what your final answer is. So you should feel free to theorize amongst yourselves throughout. But yeah, do you have any preliminary
Okay.
guesses, any thoughts?
That's a good point. What do you reckon, Cal? I mean,
I mean, your guess is way better than mine because it's your sword.
I know, that's what's so
And
embarrassing.
Is there anything about the history of the sword, or has it been in your family for a long time, or
It is a family sword, yes.
And this is something,
Okay.
Beth, where whatever you say goes. Like, I'm not about to butt in here and say that, like, you're wrong. Like, whatever you say the history of the sword is, that
Okay.
is the history of it.
I was going to check if I should do sword
Nope.
history check?
I
or
mean, like,
something,
if you
or-
want to, I
Okay.
can, like, we can do that. But like, if you have an idea of what Helena would know about this, I am not going to contradict that. Like, this is your history as you define it.
Okay, sure. I think it was her father's sword. It was my father's sword. I think it's been in the family a long time. I don't think beyond that, I don't think I know anything special, particularly
Does
about it.
Does it have a name? Is it a sword with a name?
No,
Or
maybe I should give it one. I'm
yeah,
not really a sword naming kind of person.
sure. I mean, I guess Icebreaker was already named.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
the
Yeah.
icebreaker had a name
But
when
the
you got
thing
it.
is,
Yeah.
you know, the first time we met the curator, Kal,
Hmm.
he was interested in the sword then,
He was. I remember that.
which is why I raised it before he took Icebreaker. I mentioned the sword because of that, and it confused me then. Which is why I
Yes.
wonder if there's something magical going on, because I don't understand about magic. And you know, is the sword a
I-
portal to another world? It doesn't seem to be.
Could I? Helena has the sword
Yes,
right now,
it is
right?
in Helena's possession.
Can I do? Can I do like a Arcana check or something on it to see if I detect any magic in the sword?
Are you casting the spell Detect Magic, or are you just kind of giving it a once over for any magic-y things that you're seeing?
I don't think I have detect magic, so yeah, I'm just giving it funny enough. So yeah, I think I'm just kind of giving it a once over.
Okay.
See if I notice anything.
Roll me an investigation check with disadvantage, because you're kind of doing this in like a dark hallway. Like, you can produce a little bit of fire, but you are not necessarily having like the best conditions ever to examine something closely.
Okay. Ooh. 4.
Okay. And now roll me an Arcana
Yeah.
check.
With
That
disadvantage?
one with advantage.
Or just a regular? With
No,
advantage.
excuse me, just a regular. Sorry.
Just
a
regular.
What am I saying?
Okay.
The punchiness is getting to me.
Dang.
The
Yeah.
prejudice.
Okay, 14.
Look, I don't know what to tell you. It is an exceptionally well-made sword. It is sturdy. It is, in its own way, sort of like beautiful. Like, it is very clearly a very well-made sword. If there are any traces of magic in it, you are not detecting them right now. Like, there is none of the obvious telltale things that you would see with an enchanted object are showing up here. Cal, do me a quick like insight check.
Insight. 9.
With a 9, you sort of do a quick scan of things. And look, you might be forgetting something. There might have been something that you missed. There might have been something you didn't notice. But a lot of creatures that would only be damaged by magical weaponry have not been damaged when Helena has hit them with this sword. I.e., like, you sort of know that certain creatures have resistance to normal weaponry that only magic weapons can overcome, and this sword has not overcome that resistance. So if there is
Got
magic
it.
here, you suspect that it isn't related to it necessarily being like magic that is enhancing the sword's damage dealing capabilities. And
Okay.
again, if there is magic at all, and that's a big if, you are not finding it right now.
Okay. I'll relay that to Helena and say, if there is magic, I don't think it has to do with the fact that it's a sword,
You don't think
if
it
that
has
makes sense.
any magical sort of, because it hasn't appeared to have any sort of.
I certainly haven't noticed
No.
it, but
I mean, Icebreaker obviously does have pretty
Yeah.
cool powers, and
yeah, that ice damage is cool. That cold damage is cool, so to speak. But
Why would the curator want a sword?
don't I don't know, but I suspect that it has something to do with the fact that it is somehow tied to you and your family. Because something about having the sword will give him, I don't know, power over you? Or.
Yeah, it seems like that makes sense. Like either he'd want it because it hurts him, or because it
Mhm.
harms us. He could track us,
Yeah.
or kill us, or
Yeah.
That's a
okay.
good
Well,
thing to remember. Of like, there's been a recurring thing throughout this campaign of if people have your things, they can find you, or they can see you, or they can track you. So that's a
Yeah.
thing to be aware of. And this is an object that is more so than almost anything else, kind of not just a sword, but very specifically, Helena Hailstorm sword.
Hmm. Hmm.
So ponder that.
Okay. Well, now I'm not feeling great about making this deal. But, uh,
It seems like the less
but
risky option, you said. This seems like an
yes.
acceptable risk, you said.
like, he's currently got the sword we need to defeat evil and Harriet.
Yeah,
I mean, what more can he do? I'm so sick of him.
I know. You would think that this guy was the one trying to end the world.
You just
Right.
asked
All the trouble
you
he's
started
caused
to ask
us.
a very dangerous question, Beth, which is what else could he do? And trust me, he could do a lot more.
No, I mean I have
Yeah,
other
yeah,
family, obviously, and
yeah. Um,
but just so
but I think
irritating.
that's we're on kind of the best track, thinking that somehow it will give him some control over you.
Right, whether that's in a sort of literally controls you magically way or gives you control because you have power over my family or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Or can find you or something. Yeah. Oh,
I
he
feel like
seems
you
to have no problem
problem
finding
finding
us.
us. No.
Yeah. So, um,
Squirrel
but
training
that
sword
was
stealing.
that was when I had made the deal with him. So there was that connection.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know. I wish Satus were here.
I'm sorry.
No,
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no, 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 no. It would be better. It would be better. It would be better.
Just, three heads are better than two.
I for
Okay,
one think
okay.
that
Yeah.
on the issue of Satus not being here, it is Cal that should be apologizing, but what am I to say?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That wasn't your
I
fault.
thanks. Thanks. Was kinda, but in an inadvertent way. But he's okay. He's okay. We just have to believe he's okay. And uh and we just have to focus on the problem at hand, and then we can save the world.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything, has anything changed since we've been chatting here?
I've assumed that you have kind of been like stopping and starting and just kind of like moving forward. You are getting to a point
Yeah.
soon where the hallway curves, so this might be sort of like the first turn that the curator was talking about.
Okay. Well, I say we move forward and see if anything comes to light.
Okay. We can
Maybe?
keep talking.
Yes.
You turn around the bend and you see something quite odd, which is at first a corridor that is just mirrors on either side, but as you start to walk into it, the mirrors almost fade out, and all of a sudden you aren't standing in that hallway, but you're instead standing in a place. And it's a place that you recognize, Helena, but you almost certainly don't, Cal. And this is
Okay.
now a question that I have for you, Beth. How old was Helena the first time that she swung a sword?
Oh, pretty young. 5 or 6, I think, in the training yard.
The training yard where?
At home.
This is a little bit what you start to see, and you recognize the familiar walls, the parapets, the ground around you. Who trained you?
So initially, I trained with my father. In the very early days, it was me and my brother, and then after he was gone, it was just me and my dad.
Where did he go? Your brother?
Well, my brother died when I was pretty young.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know.
It's okay. It was a long time ago.
We've been traveling together a long time. I feel like I should know that. Anyway, sidebar.
Sidebar. I guess there's a fair bit we didn't get around to with all this saving the world business.
Yeah, we should get to know each other better once this is all over.
Anyway, I wouldn't have had the sword if he hadn't died. It would have gone to him.
At this
Funny
point,
old world.
the first time that you ever held a sword, was this after your brother had already passed away?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as you are walking through here, you have this very sort of bizarre moment, Helena, where a door opens and through it walks your father, the same age that he was when this moment happened, he looks the same way, he's dressed the same way, and he is carrying 2 wooden practice swords, sort of like slumped over his shoulder. And he will turn and see you and go, "All right, there you are. How are you feeling? You think that you're up for this?
Yeah?
All right,
Yeah, of course.
come this way." And as he sort of leads you through the yard, he will walk straight into you, Kal, and straight through you. Just, you feel nothing. You seem to not be able to interact with this person at all. As the man sort of again turns to look at you, Helena, and he strangely seems to be both. He's not looking down, and you remember that you were quite a bit shorter than you are now, the way that, like, this memory originally and the way that it really happened. But he is looking at you straight in the eyes, but he does not seem to be able to tell that you are any different. It is sort of this very strange mix of you are both here with an awareness of where you are in the present, and at the same time you are reliving this memory. As he asks you, "Okay, what is the first thing that you have to remember about this?" And he will hold out sort of like the practice wooden sword for you.
I have to remember. I have to remember to stay alert.
Very good. But before that, there's something else. He'll sort of, come up to you and sort of go, "Remember, Helena, the sword doesn't give you power. You give the sword power." And he will, gently hold out one of the, wooden practice swords and hold it up until you take it. Too many people think that having a sword makes them strong, gives them ability, makes them right. You must never be one of those people. You have to remember, this is just an extension of yourself. It makes your arm longer, it makes your reach wider. But at the end of the day, it is you. It is your reach, it is your arm, it is your ability. Anything you do with the sword, you do it. Good and bad. So just always remember, this, and he'll sort of hold up now like his own practice wooden sword, is you. Remember that, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Stance 1. And without, like, any other preamble, he will, flick out his sword, and before you're even ready for it, just, hit you gently on the side, slightly knocking you off your feet.
Okay.
And he will smile and kind of go, "You gotta be faster than that. Come on, up. On your feet. On your feet."
Okay. Yep. Okay, I'm ready.
There's a sound of glass breaking, and all of a sudden the memory is gone, and you're standing once again in a hallway full of mirrors.
Did Kal see all that?
Kal saw all of that. Kal heard all of that.
Whoa.
Whoa.
If at any point, Emma, you tried to pick up a stick or run your hand through some of the hay that was in the yard, your hand would just go straight through that. You do not seem to be able to interact with anything, but you are able to see all of it.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
You saw my dad.
Yeah. He seemed tough.
He was tough. He's not around anymore, but he was tough.
Aw, I'm sorry. Well,
I
go
still
ahead.
don't really... I mean, obviously a family sword has all these wonderful memories, but I still don't really understand.
He
said, my dad said that I give the sword power, not the other way round.
and that you are the sword. So
Yeah.
I wonder if somehow by taking the sword, wonder if it's the curator likes collecting souls, right?
Yes.
If he has your sword, does he have your soul?
I mean, I guess, but... What?
But you can have a different sword, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that's a little bit of a question of semantics. But I don't know. It seems like either he's misleading us,
Mm-hmm.
which is classic Curator,
Mm-hmm.
but he could be misleading us to make us think this, but it seems like the sword, either literally or metaphorically, is you.
Yeah. I feel like he would have to, by his own rules, give us a chance to get this. That he can't just lead us up the garden path completely.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. But that's the direction that we seem to be going in currently.
Yeah. Okay.
But we could see what happens next.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see the Hall of Mirrors continuing downwards, and about, call it maybe another 40 feet, you see another bend and another turn. Anything else you want to talk about, or are you going down the turn?
Well, I feel like a bad friend. I feel like I don't know a whole lot about you, and I'm sorry about that.
Well, I don't talk
But-
about all that stuff all the time. I mean, we all got these
Yeah,
families, right?
That's true. I feel like we've spent, 2 arcs dealing with my family, but
Yeah, but Kal, also your dad has been stolen, and we've been
Yeah.
getting with other stuff. Life
yeah, that's
happens.
that's very true. That's very true.
And
but-
I've derailed everything because I'm not leaving Harriet.
No, this is still in line with the mission. I mean,
Kind of.
obviously we would. Well, we need icebreaker no matter what.
I guess so.
I mean, or at least that's one of the things that we need ostensibly. So, you've derailed nothing. This is, and plus, no question, Harriet is your beloved. We're not leaving her behind. We're getting her back.
I know, that's how I feel, but, we're missing several people and 2 dragons at this point, and I am aware of that. How do you kill the Fae?
Is that's a
Great
good, do you want to try to think about that question?
Huh?
Are you pondering
Sure.
and thinking about that question?
Cal, do you know how to kill the Fae?
I don't
Arcana
know.
check,
Does
please.
Cal know
Yeah,
how
no,
to-
Arcana check.
Arcana check? Okay.
This is really a question for
No, she does
Maeve in
not.
some ways, but sorry, what was that, Emma?
Yeah. I said, no, she does not. I got a 5.
Cold iron? Question mark?
Yeah. Something about salt circles, maybe? I don't know. Or that
Cold
could be
iron.
demons. I'm not sure. Cold iron.
Iron that's cold?
Yeah. That's what I've heard. That was the talk around town at Contraband
To
Hill.
say, yeah.
No one. Yeah.
When the round
When we-
table would
when we
gather
live-
for the salon at Contraband Hill to discuss
indeed.
how to destroy the Feywild's inhabitants. Cold iron
Yeah.
was the key.
Cold iron. Yeah.
Cold iron. So is my sword cold iron? This sounds like it's a thing that must be
Oh.
everywhere. Like, if we can kill them with iron...
No, you
mean-
would. You don't even need to roll this. Your sword is not cold iron. Cold iron is a very particular treatment of the metal. It is not necessarily magic, but it is a very, very sort of specific type of metal. Your sword is not cold iron.
Also,
Okay.
if your sword were iron, it would be very heavy, wouldn't it?
I'm very strong. But yes.
That's true. You are very strong.
I like to
Quite a
imagine
large
that it's
sword.
like, Cal would go, your sword would be so much heavier than it is. Not like, ugh, just like tries to lift it up. It's like, holy shit, no, this already
Yeah.
is super heavy.
Yeah. Even if it's the lightest steel, Cal can't lift it.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, I still think my best bet so far is that it has something to do with owning your soul.
Yeah, it seems to be kind of going in that general direction.
Yeah.
I think if it is something in that general direction, he's going to want us to be as precise as possible. But
Yeah, exactly. He is all about semantics, this guy. So I say let's see what happens next.
All right,
yeah.
going down the hallway.
Going down the hallway.
Okay. You make your way down, go through another turn, and the same thing happens. You first are walking down a hallway with a set of mirrors on either side, and all of a sudden that fades away, and you are in another scene that you recognize. And it is probably the same training grounds where we were just a moment ago. And let's just do a little bit of additional color. Like, where are these training grounds, Beth? You said home. What kind of home are we talking about? Like, where is this?
So Helena's family home is sort of quite a large. It's on top of a sort of hill or mountain. It's kind of cut off from everything else. It in some ways looks like a very elaborate, very old, grandiose kind of extended farm building. So it's a bit more dilapidated than you might think. So the training yard is sort of off to the side. It's kind of scrubby. It's marked out partly with stone and partly kind of roughly. It's a little bit spit and sawdust. And you can see part of the house can see out over it. So if someone were preparing food, they could maybe see out over it.
All right, great. Cool. You are there, and you recognize things. You would be a few years older than you were in the last memory, although you are still in that phase of training where you are still practicing with wooden swords rather than with actual steel. You said that the first person that trained you was your father. Who was the second one?
After that, after my father died, uh, it would have fallen to my aunt and uncle, who were not such expert swordspeople, really. So they had a bit of a go for a little while. My grandmother was around. She wasn't athletic, but she had a lot of opinions about sword fighting nonetheless. So it was a sort of combination. And then ultimately, when I was older, I sort of practiced kind of on my own mostly.
Was there ever sort of a master at arms or sort of an armorer or anything of that sort that would have taken charge of training, or was it handled hands-on by your relatives?
Yeah, I think we could have had a Master of Arms, particularly when I was getting a little bit older and sort of losing family people to train. I think we would have had someone up to sort of set me straight and set me exercises to do from there on in.
Great. I think that in that case, this is probably a scene the first year that you were training with this Master at Arms. And I think that one of the things that would have changed would have been that you would have gone from training by yourself to training with other young lads and lasses who were also going through the rigors of learning the arts of swordsmanship. There was one person here who you violently despised with every fiber of your being. Who were they, and what did they do to make you hate them so much?
So he was this young person, I suppose, at the time. His surname was Mandrake, a most ridiculous surname. He had this really annoying sort of perfect hair that he was so proud of. And he was always showing off in the yard. He would always sort of mock me and say that he was stronger because he was a boy. And the thing that was incredibly annoying is he was a bit stronger than me, and I just hated it. I just hated it so much. Yeah.
Excellent.
He was a tool.
Very good. I think then, as we come in, it is you find yourself standing in this circle of about 12 different young people, in the center of which are two young preteen girls sparring with wooden swords. And after a moment of clack, 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 one sort of gets knocked down to the ground. And the older mustached man that is overseeing this man by the name of Rogers, goes, "All right, thank you, that's enough." He'll sort of look up and go, "I reckon we have time for one more. Hailstorm, Mandrake, have a go, 3 contact, okay?"
Okay.
And, and you'll sort of see as this boy on the other side of the circle kind of smirks a little bit as he picks up his sword. And as you pick up yours, Rogers will come up to you and sort of put a hand on your shoulder and go, "Take it easy. Breathe." Kal, what are you doing as Helena sort of goes towards the middle of the circle?
I think I'm trying to cast a firebolt at the kid and see what happens.
Interesting. So you try to do that, and the moment that you try to do that, there is sort of this almost like a short circuit in your magic. It seems that while you're kind of in this
Not again.
liminal memory space, you can't really cast spells.
Cool.
So yeah.
Well, besides that, I think I'm just observing as much as I can.
Cool.
What the Master at Arms is saying, this kid, see if I can pick up on anything.
All right. Well then, as the two of you go towards the center of this circle, Mandrake would be, fixing his beautiful blonde curls slightly and going, "All right, Hailstorm, show me what you got. You gonna be a proper Knight of Lear this time, or you gonna be, another weakling little girl? Come on. Have at it."
Hey, I'm ready if you're finished doing your hair.
Great. Roll me a d20, Beth.
Okay. I got a 9.
You got a 19. So there is sort of this fast clack, 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 click, and he gets you on the arm. And you'll sort of hear Rogers go, that's one. And, and Mandrake will kind of smirk and laugh a little bit and glance over his shoulder at some of his friends and kind of go, honestly, I don't know why we have to waste our time dealing with these, little upstarts. Think that they can do anything just because they have family connections. Down here, it's not about that. It's about what you can do with your arms. And without any warning, he will lunge at you. Roll me another d20.
I get an 11.
He gets a 14. So once again, clack, clack, clack. And he hits you on the back of the leg, sweeping your feet out from under you, and you fall to the ground.
Ow!
Okay, what do you say? Want me to just give you a quick one across the face just so we can knock out early? What do you think?
No, let's go again.
You get back on your feet, and he'll sort of do kind of a little obnoxious, come on, come at me. Roll me a d20.
Natural 1.
He gets you across the face, and you taste blood as you fall to the ground.
Oh.
And instantly you will hear Rogers kind of go, Mandrake! Far, far too much. And he will, come up to him and just, swat the sword away from him. And go, you're sanctioned. See me at the stables at 3:30 bell tomorrow. Everyone else, dismissed. And everyone will instantly start to scatter. And then, you will, as you hear them go away, you will hear Mandrake's voice cutting through the courtyard as he says, I barely tapped her. It's not my fault that she's such a delicate little flower.
This is Helena's villain origin story.
Thank you for that, Cal.
Yeah.
Villain.
Rogers
I'm just saying.
Rogers will go back towards where you are, and he will sort of, crouch down and kind of go, you okay, kid?
Yeah, I'm fine. He just got lucky. It's fine. We should go again. We should go again.
There'll be plenty of time.
There'll be
plenty of time for that. It's all right. He got you today. You'll get him tomorrow. That's just the way it works. You need to keep calm, Helena. He's gotten under your skin, and you can't beat what's under your skin. You need to understand that.
I guess I just think if I was a little bit faster.
Can I ask you, and I'm sorry if this is an indelicate question, but, well, most of the scions of noble families don't spend their time out in the courtyard. Most of the noble sons and daughters who I know that are your age are in the library, or in the study, or in the spell sanctum. This seems like something that you need to do. Why? I've spoken to your grandmother, and she says that you are here because you want to be here, that you've asked to be here. Why is this so important to you?
Well, it's just what I want to do since my brother died. I don't know, I always thought I'd be a fighter like my dad, and my sister isn't interested in this stuff, but they're going to need someone to protect them, and I can do that. I know I can. And no one else is going to.
He'll nod a little bit and go, I can respect that. But just remember, there's a difference between picking up a sword and defending people because you can help them, and feeling like you have to pick up the sword. So just remember, don't let yourself become people's only option for salvation. That is not on you. You have to do everything that you can do, not everything that they need you to do. And I think that once you learn that, I think that you'll learn a little bit better how to control yourself and that you don't need to swing for the fences every single time. All right?
All right.
Come on your feet. I think we have time for a few more drills before the sun goes down. And he'll toss you the practice sword again, and there'll be clack, 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 and then the sound of the mirror shards breaking, and once again you are back in the hallway.
Well, this is embarrassing. You're seeing me falling down and stuff.
Well, that guy, honestly, if you need to stop this whole save the world quest and just go after that Mandrake kid, I'm with you. I'll
We
back
should
you up.
totally do that later.
Yeah, yeah.
He's the most annoying person.
He seems horrible. Horrible.
Yeah.
But that aside, what do you think?
It's amazing coming back to these memories that I hadn't thought about for so long. I
Yes.
guess you forget with everything going on that there were some pretty good teacher figures in life.
Yeah.
But I suppose in a way I'm really confused because I was using the practice sword in both of those.
Yeah.
They're really important memories that are part of me.
Yeah.
And they're part of kind of my fighting story. But it's not the same sword. Which, if anything, makes me think the sword isn't that important, which is not helpful in this
Yeah,
particular conundrum.
I'm wondering if the sword is a little more esoteric. It's
What?
you. It's you.
What?
The sword is you. If he has Helena Hailstorm's sword, he's got you. Because you can wield any sword,
Yes.
but only you can wield it.
What? Hold
don't
the
know.
sword, Cal. Take it.
Quick
come on.
strength check, Emma.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
My first good roll of the day. 16.
You barely lose your balance at all when you pick up the sword.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's
That's
very
kind,
discreet
very
and
kind.
nobody notices.
Yeah. Thank you.
So now you
Bolt
have
probably
the
knows.
sword.
Yes,
You're wielding it,
but
right?
it's useless in my hand.
I doubt that. It's quite sharp. Do you want to try and,
Yeah, I'll try hitting this mirror with it.
Well, it might be magic.
Probably. But I'll take a swing at the mirror.
You're like getting yourself ready, raise the sword, and all of a sudden your reflection changes to be that of the curator looking at you with crossed arms going, ahem? What are we doing?
Just a scientific experiment.
None of that, please. These are expensive.
Fine.
And he fades
you.
away,
Okay,
and
you
you once
can go
again,
away again.
just have your reflection.
So annoying.
I know.
Kleptomaniac. Look,
Yeah.
why don't you just stab me a little bit?
I'm not gonna stab you.
Just a little bit. Come on, just stab me a little bit.
What is happening?
We're proving that the sword works for anyone. Obviously.
You didn't take.
Volt is looking up at you, Cal, with this face of, with this, like, even through the goat disguise that you recognize as this face of, are you really gonna stab her?
Maybe
No,
just
I'm
like
not gonna
in the
stab
arm.
her.
Soft on soft. Like, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Somewhere I won't miss. Just a little bit.
I think you're going through something, Helena. And while I very much sympathize, I don't think stabbing you is going to be the answer.
Okay. Or you
I
could
think-
just sort of whack it a little bit. Just kind of give me a little bit of a whack.
Okay, fine, I'll try a little whack.
Come on then.
Kal very half-heartedly.
Roll me an attack roll.
And tell Satus about this when he comes back.
Oh, good. I assume I don't add anything to it.
You add your strength
right?
score, or you subtract your strength score.
Which is okay. So 5.
It goes as it hits the ice mantle, or the frost mantle, excuse me.
Yeah.
And kind of just like bounces off. Your swing was probably like a little wider, and you were aiming for like one of the exposed parts of Helena's arm, but instead you kind of just like get her the armor.
Oops. Oh well. I guess that
What can you do?
shows. Yeah. What can you do?
You weren't
See?
trying. We have proved nothing.
Listen, I don't think this is the route to be going down.
That's because you think that it would work for you, which I also think, because it is a sword.
Well, I'm not.
So you
willing
both
to
agree?
take the risk. So you agree?
No, so you agree. You agree that the sword, if Bolt picks up the sword and is quite dexterous with his teeth, he could stab someone with it.
Want to give it a try, buddy? I didn't think so. I think we can put this experiment to rest for now.
But you agree that the sword isn't useless without me, because it's a
No, I
sword.
don't think it's. No, it's not useless without you. But
Right.
it's the I'm worried that he's not talking about this sword exactly, but something a little deeper than that.
I get very nervous when you say things like that.
I just went through a whole experience, okay, of self-reflection and exploration, and I've been thinking about going to therapy, but anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kat. Okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I shouldn't have told you to stab me. I'm sorry. It wasn't nice.
That's okay. It will give me something to talk to my future therapist about. I'm very excited about that.
Future
Okay.
therapist, aka
Okay.
Satus.
Yeah.
He's got so much to come back for. All our nonsense.
He does. He really does. But I would here, please take the sword back.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Just in case you were wondering, yeah, like, when you give her the sword, when you give the sword back to Helena, like, there is no change in the air. There's nothing that, like, the sword doesn't start glowing. Nothing happens. It just seems to be you are giving her a sword.
Yeah. And I think that's because it's not about this sword. It's about you.
Do you think he wants my metaphorical sword?
Yes. Ew. But yes.
What?
This is going way better than I could have ever dreamed.
It's not, is it? Do you think he wants, like, all my... Oh, there's no way.
Every
Let's just do
single
the
bit
next-
of your sword, yeah.
Okay,
Your
I think
soul sword. He wants your soul sword.
he hasn't been offered my soul sword. Okay.
Well, what did we offer him? Helena Hailstorm's sword, right?
Something like that. The sword that has been with Helena
That-
Hailstorm.
That's the wording?
I believe that the wording was that if you lose, you, as in Helena, will give him your sword.
Oh, there is more than one way of interpreting that.
Oh. You could.
Maybe?
You could. Isn't to give someone your sword, is that a euphemism for killing them?
If you're...
Stabbing them?
I think, there was, there's sort of ancient, in classical civilization, yes, something like that, but I think also, like a sellsword, if you give someone your sword, you give them your service.
Oh.
As a swordsperson, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which is where I was kind of...
That makes more sense.
I think we're going to find it
Unless
hard
he-
to tell at what point we've lost perspective. And drift drifting. But no,
You got to get off track before you can come back on.
Fascinating theory,
clarified.
that one.
I'm sure he clarified which sword, right? Because obviously not the one he currently has, because he's going to give that back.
That was part of the deal, yes.
Yes, which implied the
Okay.
remaining sword.
I think we clarified that he was going to give Icebreaker back.
Yeah, that's part of the coming back deal.
Just to be clear, like, that is only if you guys win.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if we
yeah,
lose,
yeah,
not if we
yeah.
lose.
We
Yes,
understand.
absolutely.
Yeah, we understand.
Yeah. Give
Well,
your
I
sword.
I say, if we lose,
Yes.
you stab him, because technically that's living up to the deal.
Giving him your sword.
Okay. I mean, let's put a pin in that.
Let's put a pin in that, because we still are gonna win, so that's not gonna have to happen. But
I mean,
that's a fallback plan.
yeah, I feel like the curator probably can hear everything we say, if not
Yeah, probably.
everything we think. So,
Yes, I
You know.
can, just for the record.
right. Yeah.
Yes, great.
Yeah.
It's
So,
fine.
so the element of surprise is kind of going to be hard to come by, but
Yeah,
since he openly wants to kill us a little bit, I'm sure he won't
yeah,
mind. We
yeah.
occasionally think about killing
I
him.
would never,
say.
I would never harm a single hair on your heads.
Feels like you have come
Disappears again.
Yeah,
Oh,
but you already have
so
done that.
annoying. Must be fun being the curator.
Yeah, does seem like a good gig. But-
Okay.
But no time to think about that now. Is there anything we learned from this last memory specifically that we haven't talked about?
Roger's told me to stay calm and not just want to kill everyone all the time, and not to feel that you have to be. Yeah. Sorting about.
You can only do it if you want to do it.
It's best to do it for good reasons,
Yeah.
rather than being, say, in thrall to the curator against your will.
For example.
For
yes.
example, yeah, that would not be ideal.
Yeah.
Okay.
You all tell me when we're walking
guess-
down the hallway. Like, I'm giving
Yeah.
you guys
Oh, we
Yeah.
as
got
much time
yeah,
as you need. But you guys tell me when we're moving on. Or if you guys want to take, like, you
I'm
can take a shot.
curious.
Like, if you want to be like, we have an answer, you can do that anytime.
I'm not quite ready for that. I think we should see what happens next.
Okay. Let's see what happens next.
All right.
So we keep walking.
And as you turn down the next hallway, we're going to take a 5-minute break. And be back soon to find out more of these
Okay.
shenanigans. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I'm so
be back
scared.
in about 5 minutes, folks.
I know.